albums in the early 2010s and shit a brick with your last project, and now are actually, this is like latest news. Now you're like trying to start beef with Kanye and Drake just to get relevant again. That's not exactly a guy I want to hear on a song by Travis Scott. That's just, you know, filling up his ego so hard that like just he thinks the presence of him being on a song is just, oh, it's a blessing, but it's not, and it makes for some really lousy verses by Travis and Kid Cudi on this song, and a lazy hook that I can't deal with. I want to skip this song every time I get to it, especially the part when Travis says, "Stroke my cactus." I don't have words for that. Like, I get he's from Houston and he likes that whole like Wild West feeling with all the cactuses and deserts and old wagon wheels that he has as his props on at his shows, but it doesn't fit that with this song, and it just doesn't make for a good song, and that happens again with Goosebumps. It's just lazy. It just feels lazy, like lazy sound writing, just lazy beats being produced by Travis and Mike Dean, and it just doesn't really mesh with the rest of the album because, you know, you take out Through the Late Night, SDP interlude, Goosebumps, and Outside, like that's 4 songs out of 14 that really don't fit the album, but there's 10 songs that you can really Guidance isn't good. Guidance is not good. Guidance is straight trying to ride off the dance hall. Trying to ride off the dance hall right now because it's so popular. That's what I'm trying to say, but I can't find the right word. But yeah, like 5 out of 14 songs not being good. The rest of them are really good. Like Ends, Way Back, Coordinate, on probably my favorite on the album, just because just the feeling that you get when he's just saying spend that money fast if I have to. It's just you can do this. You can just bump to it because it feels right. It feels like there isn't a single part, a single sound, a single verse, single word on the track that really feels out of place. While it might not blow you away, it's good. It's just like good songwriting, and it fits, and it makes you happy because it's your artist doing the best they can, just in the right way. They're not bullshitting. They're not cutting corners. They're not trying to just gyp you, and that's really the biggest positive off this album is that it doesn't feel forced or faked or just lazy completely. Some songs are, but for the most part, this is a good album. Like, it really has this sort of slow, dark feeling in like the first half, and then you hit the SDP interlude, and everything gets brought up a notch, and it just grabs your attention again when you hear Sweet Sweet, when you hear Goosebumps or First Take, Pick Up the Phone, even though it's a single, and the ending with Wonderful. Just all throughout there is just pretty good songs with one or two bad ones like Goosebumps and Guidance. but it's just good songs all the way to the end, and it flows very, very well, and it like the mood just skyrockets all the way up from where the ends was, which is like down here and like happiness rating, and then wonderful with the weekend is like all the way up here. So it's really a kind of confusing vibe it's trying to give off, but you really can't fault it, I don't think, because it works out so well and you get a lot of good songs from this. So it's hard to draw a conclusion from this album because I'm trying to keep it to my own opinion, but I know that my own opinion might be a tad biased because I was such a big Travis Scott fan. Well, I mean, I still am, but my expectations for this album were way above the average hip hop listener that doesn't really see Travis Scott as one of their favorite artists. But after listening to this album for about 2 weeks straight, really kind of taking in all the different just sounds and lyrics and hooks and just what Travis has been tweeting and posting on Instagram and his Snapchat, what he's been doing, it shows that he's just having a good ass time now. He's so happy that his album's out, and he's not saying, go buy it, guys, let's reach this goal. He's just saying, wow, I'm finally done with my album. I can finally give it to you guys to listen to. I'm so happy that I'm done with it, so I can give it to you guys. I think he's probably more excited for the album coming out than anybody because he knows that this is good, that he likes it, and that he thinks other people are gonna like it. So, if I had to give it a number rating, I'd say 8 out of 10. Mostly because there are some duds in this album, like Through the Late Night and the STP interlude, which is like the same 3 words, 5, whatever, just the same thing over and over again to a pretty good beat that could have been made into a decent song, but now it's just this stupid 3-minute long interlude that leads into the second phase of the album. And a lot of these guest verses weren't very good. Like, I would say that Young Thug's, Weeknd's, even Nav's verse on Biebs and the Trap was pretty good, but Kid Cudi was not good. He really ruined that entire Through the Late Night song. I don't think Kendrick really fit that well on Goosebumps, and 21 Savage's verse sounds low quality. Like, not like how he wrote it or the effort that he put into it. It literally sounds like he recorded it on like his iPhone and sent it to Travis and said, all right, here's my verse. You can throw it on the album now. Like, it just sounds weird. It sounds like it was ripped from another song and put in to Outside. And I didn't really like it. I mean, all of these artists on here that are featured, I like. Like, I love Kendrick. I love Kid Cudi's older stuff. I like The Weeknd. I like Bryson Tiller. But there's just a hard time fitting all of those guys in with Travis because he has such a different sound that's not impossible to mesh with, but pretty difficult, and I really can't think of many artists that work well with him other than Quavo, Young Thug. Andre 3000's verse was good, but he's not like always featured on Travis's songs. But yeah, it's hard to go along with what Travis is doing because it really only fits him and maybe somebody like Future that has kind of that pitch adjusted sound to it, and just it doesn't focus on the lyrics, it focuses on the sound it gives off. So that's why I just think it's difficult for them to go along with him. But this album, despite that, I can really look past that and see that this album was definitely took a lot of time to make, definitely felt like it wasn't rushed. I mean, it shouldn't feel rushed after how many times it got delayed. But yeah, it's a good album. It's not To Pimp a Butterfly or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's not. It's not something grand that people will probably look back on and say essential hip hop albums of 2010 to 2020, Birds in the Trap sing McKnight. They're not going to. But is that bad? No, because an album doesn't need to be so big, so influential, so popular that it gets spoken about years and years in advance. I can enjoy this album now. I can enjoy it a month from now, but I'll probably stop listening to it after, I don't know, half a year, because you don't need to listen to an album forever. It's good. That's all I have to say. It's good. It is a good album. 8 out of 10. It's good.